Michael, Matt, and Miles as always. NFL's halfway through the season, a little more than half. Interesting half so far. A lot to be uncovered and still decided. We're gonna start with power rankings as always. Michael, give you team five.
All right. After a great performance against the Giants, I have the Cowboys at 5. I feel like there was a lot of teams that you could have put at 5, but when I thought about why I'm putting the Cowboys, it's really because if I matched up the Cowboys against like the Lions, the Texans, the other teams I was considering, I thought the Cowboys would be better and beat them. So that's really my logic, and I just think like Dak had a great week, and the CD looks like top 5 receiver.
Yeah, so at my 5, I have the Bengals. I think this was a game they really should have won. I thought the Texans were a little bit fraudulent going into like their hype was a little bit fraudulent, especially after they lost to the Panthers 2 weeks prior. But I mean, I was just really impressed with C.J. Stroud. And the Bengals are still my top 5, but this definitely moved them down a little bit because the offense in the second half was nowhere near where it could be.
Yeah, I don't have the Bengals in my top 5, but
I would say before you go, I would say if Tyler Boyd catches that ball, it's a completely different narrative. Or they're up and they need to score a touchdown rather than a field goal. But I mean, it's a completely different story.
Yeah, I completely agree, but I also don't have the
It's
Bengals in my top 5
I
because he
don't
dropped.
either. It's just the game. Yeah, go ahead, Miles.
I got the Lions. They've just looked really good recently. They just had that one bad loss against Ravens, which I think is holding them back. But overall, they've had a really good season. Goff is playing really well. Amon-Ra is looking like a top 10 receiver. The Gibbs and Montgomery duo is like one of the best in the
About
league.
time.
Probably the best in the league, actually.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I would say is their defense looked not great against the Chargers. So, yeah.
I feel like I'm like being a Lions hater by not having them in the top 5, like because they like kind of deserve it, but it's really just I don't trust Golf. That's all it is. But
He took the Rams to a Super Bowl though. Like
I mean,
I think Goff's good.
I
I
trust
do
him way
too.
more than Lamar Jackson.
all right.
What?
And Tua.
He's the biggest Lamar Jackson hater
I'm
of
not.
all
I'm
time.
Like no one just said that.
I trust Goff more than Tua.
Out of left field.
Yeah. I'm gonna you keep going. I'm gonna pull up some
Are you
stats.
for real?
I'm dead serious.
I don't know.
God.
I feel like I should have the Lions in my top 5. Their offensive line is so good. Their run game is insane. But like
Yeah.
at the end of the day,
They're
I
gonna
just don't
ground
see
and pound and win the trenches every single game.
Like,
It's
Yeah.
guaranteed.
Lamar Jackson has 10 touchdown passes and 5 interceptions. Like
Yeah.
it's been
Okay.
overhyped.
Look at the ground game.
Yeah, I think he's overhyped too. I agree with that.
Thank you, Miles.
Interesting. It's a good. What?
Yeah.
Does anyone have the Ravens in their top 5?
No.
I
Yeah.
do.
You do. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. At my 5, I have the Dolphins. Obviously, I'm gonna put them somewhere. I have to throw them in there, but I just think they're getting healthy. They're full strength now. A-Chain's coming back this week. Teron Armstead's back. Jalen Ramsey's been back. Jalen Phillips has been back. They're full healthy. They have an easy schedule coming up, and I don't know if that division's locked up, but they're looking good. I don't know if they're gonna win it or if the other teams are gonna lose it. So I just have to put the Dolphins in there. Michael, who do you have in 4?
I have the Niners at 4. Like we haven't had them on the top 5 for a few weeks now, but the win against the Jaguars was so like, I mean, that was crazy. They blew them out of the water. Debo Samuel is clearly a bigger piece like to their success than we thought because he comes back and they looked all the way back. And obviously their defense has always been good, but yeah, I mean, I think they're probably. I mean, it's probably going to be Eagles Niners in the NFC Championship.
My
That
4.
defense-
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I have Jared Goff's Lions at the 4.
Jared
No,
Goff.
they're like the new team that everyone likes. They're very fun to watch. Now that the Bills are not great and their offense is kind of boring, the Lions are like the new America's team right now. They just have so many pieces. Like Gibbs doing his work at top 10 pick that he should have been doing the whole year, and Amon-Ra's a beast. I just really like the team overall. But I agree about I think Miles said it about the defense. A little bit worrisome.
Yeah, the defense is pretty bad.
Yeah. At 4, I got the Ravens. I still think they're like a really, really good team and that they can contend for a Super Bowl. But I had to drop them after that loss. But yeah, that was just a bad. They blew the lead against the Browns, who I guess they look like a legit team right now, beating the 49ers and the Ravens. So I guess that's not that bad of a loss. But yeah, I still think they're a good team. So, but I had to drop them.
Do you guys, speaking of just on the Browns topic, do you think they can be AFC not contenders but fighters if they get decent play from Deshaun Watson?
Yeah,
Easily.
I really do. I mean, their
I,
defense is probably the best in the league.
their defense can carry them.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
don't know. I just don't know if we trust or seen enough from Deshaun Watson yet. If he can,
yeah, but if he does play
oh
better,
yeah,
like
they could be
I
pretty
mean,
decent.
They were winning
run
with
game
PJ
is
Walker. So
Yeah,
and their run game is still really good even without Chubb
yeah. I mean,
throwing
imagine
for
if
like
they had
100
Chubb
yards.
too. Wow,
Yeah,
that'd be crazy. My four, I have the Niners too. That defense really looked great with Chase Young and Bosa. Um, Trevor Lawrence had no time to do anything. He was just a mess that game, but it wasn't his fault. It was the defense fault. They were getting to him every single play. It looked like, and Purdy looked great with all the weapons there. Trent Williams. Do you see Trent Williams ran after a guy and he ran away?
Yeah.
yeah,
I didn't see
But
that.
It was very, very, very funny, but I guess not. Yeah, they're just a good team. The weapons are all back. CMC streak is done, but still, I think they're top two, maybe three in the NFC. Michael? Who do you have at three? Ravens.
Yeah, here's where I have the Ravens. I just think like I feel like it's weird. Like Lamar's just a weird quarterback. Like he's not like a fantasy quarterback as of late, but he like wins games. I don't know. Like I don't know if that makes sense. I feel like their run game is just like so good because of Lamar. Like the defense has to worry about Lamar's like running so much that it just creates like so many options for their offense, and he doesn't necessarily get the stats because of it. Um, but their team's still really good. Their defense is still great. Division game against the Browns was really close. Took a bunch of fluky plays and ended up them losing. But Bengals against the Bengals Thursday night, that'll be a good one.
yeah, I have the Chiefs at my three. I mean, I don't really have much to say because it was their bye week. But like I said last episode, their lack of receivers, even though they have Mahomes, like it still scares me in the long run. That's why I don't have them in my top two. But Mahomes and that defense is great.
yeah. I got the Chiefs too. You basically said everything. But yeah, it was a bye week. My opinion didn't really change on them. Their offense still looks not great, which they have to fix. But their defense looks amazing. But the Eagles game will show a lot about them, I think. So that'll be a good game.
Don't yell at me, but I have Jared Goff's Lions at three. I don't know. I just like that team. Gibbs and Monty are great together. It's so cool. Or about time. Like I've been saying, Gibbs is breaking out, and he finally is getting the touches and doing something with it rather than just getting 6 yard carries. But they're gonna win the trenches. I love Ben Johnson. I love Dan Campbell, and I trust Jared Goff. I probably would trust him more than Lamar at this point. I really thinking about it. I don't know if that's a crazy take, but like I said, they're gonna win the. Don't shake your head. Like, what has Lamar shown you?
What do you want me to do? Like agree when I don't agree?
No, but like, why? Why would you like what has Lamar shown you in Jared Goff? Like, what don't you
He's
trust
just
in
had a
Jared
much
Goff?
better like career, like, and been better this year too. I don't know, like he just like I said, like it's not the numbers haven't shown it, but I mean, I think it's the opposite for Goff. Like the numbers show much better than who he actually is as a quarterback. Their
Yeah.
offensive line is like insane. I mean, any
Oh
quarterback
yeah,
will be able
yeah.
to succeed with that run game when you're just like doing play action off of it.
And he thrives in play action, but it's just
Yeah,
he's a system.
they work to his strong suits, but
Yeah.
I still wouldn't like trust him over Lamar.
Okay, but I still think
He's like
the
a
Lions.
better version of Brock Purdy.
Yeah,
I
that's a
could
good
see
way
that.
to put it.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
I also
fine.
just think like if I think about like the Lions and the Cowboys playing in the playoffs, like I would take the Cowboys.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't
I
either.
wouldn't.
Also, at what point do we like
They're a
give
better overall
Josh
team.
Allen like the hate that Dak Prescott gets? Like statistically, they throw a lot of they
Now?
both throw a lot of interceptions.
Yeah.
Josh
Last
Allen,
week.
I feel like Josh Allen, he's actually a good
Last
quarterback.
year.
Like if he
No,
had
but
that game versus the Chiefs in the playoffs like 3 years ago, the narrative would be different. And he still is good, but like currently,
Yeah, no, I agree. And like the thing is, I don't think either of them should get as much hate as they do
I
because
think
they're like,
Josh Allen should. I don't think
I
Dak
think
should.
I think Dak's been playing pretty well this
Dak's
season.
been playing
Yeah,
great. He's been the best quarterback in the league the last 4 weeks since that Niners game.
yeah,
Stats have
Maybe.
shown it, and yeah.
that's why I would take the Cowboys over the Lions.
Oh, okay. I just think the team is better. CD's insane, by the way.
yeah.
Holy moly, that guy's crazy. Okay, back on
He's
topic.
pretty good.
Power rankings. Michael, who do you have it to?
I really wanted to put them at 1, but I have the Eagles at 2. Like I really
loves
feel like
the Chiefs.
I should have them at 1, but
Chill.
He blazed the Chiefs.
no, but the reason I still have the Chiefs at 1 is because I had them at 1, and then they beat the Dolphins. So like I have no reason to drop them from 1. But yeah, the Eagles had before the bye week had a great win against the Cowboys. Was very close. Both great teams in my opinion, and we'll find out a lot about them against the Chiefs.
That's gonna be a sick game.
Yeah. 2, I have the Niners. I said in the past, I don't care if they go 10-7 in the regular season. They're still one of the top teams in the league, especially when it comes to the playoffs. And like Trent Williams, amazing. And like Michael said about Deebo Samuel, he's more important than we think, even though he might not have insane stats. And listen, the Jaguars, like we knew they were a good team. No one thought they were like borderline amazing, possibly fraudulent, but that was so dominating. We have to give them the credit they deserve.
Are they frauds? The Jags?
The Jaguars?
I think so.
Yeah.
Should they be scared of the division and the Texans coming up?
I think the Texans are a better team. Yeah, I mean,
I think CJ Stroud's playing better than T-Law.
T-Law's not playing that good.
I think
He's
the
not.
problem with the Jags is we were all like had expectations of Trevor Lawrence to jump to this like MVP caliber player. I'm pretty sure one of us picked him in our preseason awards, but
that was me. Yeah,
Matt.
And he just had. I mean, I don't blame you. I like the call, and he just hasn't been up to par. And neither has Calvin Ridley.
I was going to say, Ridley has been non-existent after week 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it sucks. Miles, who do you have it to?
Yeah,
Chiefs?
I got the Niners. Me and Matt pretty much have similar lists, but yeah, they got everyone back. They just looked amazing with Trent Williams and Debo, Brock. Those additions, them getting healthy helped out Brock a lot, and I think he'll play really well the rest of the season. And also, I don't know how well Chase Young played, but I do think like that will really help them in the long run.
I have the Chiefs in my 2 just because of the defense and Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Travis Kelce. I don't know. I just trust them, and I don't know if like the offense is a little. It's like an iffy situation. They only put up 14 against the Dolphins, whose defense is average, maybe a little above average, but it's a 14-14 game if Tyreek Hill holds on to the ball. I mean, it's a completely different game, and maybe we're having a different conversation. But regardless, that defense played well against Tua. Obviously, Tyreek Hill didn't have that explosive play, but it's the same stuff every week with the Chiefs. I feel like the defense is kind of bailing them out in a sense, and the offense isn't putting up the 30 points that we're used to them. But that's just good team football, and it's 3 different phases for a reason. So I just trust the defense more than the offense at this point. But Michael, Chiefs. Michael has the Chiefs at 1. Tell me why.
Yeah. So obviously they beat the Dolphins. They were up 20-0. It looked like they were going to completely blow them out. The Dolphins came back and started running the ball in the second half. Came back a little bit, but just in general, like the Chiefs' defense is just really good. I mean, their corners have been playing great. Their pass rush was good, and then on offense, it's all Mahomes. Like I trust Mahomes. I feel like a lot of the times they end up stalling drives. Like late, they'll like kick a field goal on 4th and 2. So I feel like they should be putting up more points than they are. And in the playoffs, I feel like those points will come. Like they'll be more aggressive.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I should have the Eagles at 1 right now. I mean, I don't really have much to say because it was the bye week. They just have the best roster in the NFL, and I just don't see anyone really beating them in the regular season.
Yeah, I got the Eagles too. Kind of the same day to bye week, so I just kept them there. but the bye week also helped them a lot with the health issues.
Oh,
Hurts has a
yeah.
whole week to rest. We have Bradley Roby back, which will be great for the secondary, just to add some depth. And Cam Jurgens, I think, will play. He was on the IR, but I think that's a very underrated addition because we had Tyler Steen last game, and Micah Parsons just exploited that the whole game, and he got to the quarterback the whole game. So I think Cam Jurgens and Bradley Roby will help them out a lot this week.
I have the Eagles too. You guys pretty much said it all. Not much to say. Yeah, paper team, best team in the league, but Jalen Hurts, MVP candidate, obviously, maybe even front runner. Speaking of that, halfway through the year, maybe a little more. Season ends today, or if the season ends today, who do you have as your MVP, Michael?
Oh, I wasn't prepared for this. I'm gonna go with Mahomes. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Mahomes.
Wait,
Yeah.
really?
That's all I got.
Okay. Matt?
So I think Jalen Hurts is the MVP statistically, but he has the best team around him. Realistically, I think C.J. Stroud is playing the best MVP level right now because he's elevated. I have Hurts as my pick, but C.J. Stroud is playing at an MVP level, elevating everyone else around him and exceeding expectations.
Yeah, wait. I want to add to the Hurts point. Is that I feel like Hurts should be held to a higher standard than Mahomes should. Just in terms of the offense around them. If you put Mahomes on the Eagles, he's obviously winning MVP. You know what I'm saying? The Mahomes just is more valuable to his offense than Hurts is at the end of the day, in my opinion.
I totally disagree with that. I mean,
Didn't see this coming.
Yeah,
Mahomes is very valuable to the Chiefs' offense, but they clearly have been performing that well. And Hurts is leading one of the best offenses in the NFL.
Whoa.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, I mean his ability to just move around in the pocket and just connect with AJ Brown and all of our receivers is just insane. And I think he's easily the MVP. And Matt's point on Stroud, I think that's just recency bias, and he's had two
it's
good
not.
comeback wins.
Look at his numbers.
It's
He's
not.
top 5 passing yards.
He's second in passing yards. The Texans are second in yards per game passing. Top 10 in yards per game total. He has the top 6 most passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Are you serious?
Yeah.
And he barely has help.
I would like to see where Hurts is on those.
Yeah, I'm saying Hurts is my number one, but CJ Stroud is elevating the Texans at a different level. He's making Noah Brown and Tank Dell look like Pro Bowlers. I don't even know who these people were 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, put Hurts on the Texans. He's not doing this, bro.
Facts.
Hurts on the Texans they're undefeated.
Stroud on the Eagles is undefeated.
Yeah, well.
Are you serious?
Give it a year.
Stroud is better than Hurts. No, I'm kidding.
Are you actually serious?
No, but for real, he's CJ Stroud's second in passing. Jalen Hurts is 9th.
All right, what about running?
Okay, obviously not, but
yeah,
he has 14 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, 15 total. I wouldn't say it's out of the question that he's in the conversation. I would still give it to Hurts, but I don't think it's recency bias.
The Eagles are the number 1 team in the NFL right now strictly because of their offense. Their defense has been playing average or below.
Look,
average.
if you look at Stroud's numbers and take away the fact that his team's 5-4, I think we're talking about him more in the conversation.
All right, but how can you just take away the fact that they're 5-4?
Obviously not. We're not going to, but I'm saying if the what if situations, but Stroud's playing fantastic football.
All right, but they're not, I don't think they'll give it to a quarterback on a team that's 500.
Well, I think they're going to win the division, in my opinion.
I don't know. Miles, do you not see that Hurts has the most help out of anyone in the league?
All right, and he's using it well, and he's looking like the best quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, but I feel that should elevate the standard that he.
Yeah, and he's meeting those standards.
Okay.
If
you want him to play the best quarterback of all time, then obviously he's meeting those standards.
I just think there's other quarterbacks that are more valuable to their offense than Hurts is valuable.
I agree, and that's just the way the Eagles are built. It's just like Brock Purdy on the Niners. Any quarterback. Any quarterback for the Niners is not going to be as valuable as a quarterback for the Texans who have no other help.
This was the argument. This was the same exact argument as last year. Hurts got injured for 2 games last year, and everyone was like, Gardner Minshew would do the same thing. They would have the same record with Gardner Minshew. He comes in for 2 games, and they lose both games.
Okay, well, that's like Gardner Minshew. Like, he's like not good.
All right, he's a starter in the
We
NFL.
still have
right
Hurts
now.
as our pick.
Only
Or I
Gardner
do. Me
Minshew's
and
a
Evan
starter.
do.
I do. Am I crazy to say that if we like redraft the NFL, CJ Stroud's a top 15 pick?
Too
I think
early.
He's not a top 15 pick.
I think
Hurts
he
is.
might be.
I think he is.
Hurts is
Hurts-
definitely.
Obviously, enough of Hurts. We know he's a good quarterback. CJ Stroud conversation right now.
Yeah, I mean, just because he's a quarterback, he probably would be. But then you got to think, like, I feel like people would pick like Parsons and Garrett, like those people over.
I would have
Yeah.
to look at that. but-
Maybe not.
You need a
Like,
bigger sample size. Don't
Would
forget,
you
like,
rather
Baker was pretty good his rookie year. Like, pretty good. Not.
No, but Stroud is like clearly like
historically good?
good. Like Baker, like didn't just even though his stats were good, like he didn't look as good as Stroud looks. Like Stroud, like is
Herbert was
clearly
kind
gonna
of
be
like
good.
similar as Stroud his rookie
Kind
year.
of. A little bit, yeah. I mean, that the fact that we're talking about this right now just shows how good he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
In the
great.
conversation for MVP, obviously offensive rookie of the year, but defensive player of the year. Who do you guys have, Michael? Who do you got?
Bro, I didn't know we were doing
I
awards.
told you this.
Defensive Player of the Year is Myles Garrett. He's unreal. I feel like it could be Max Crosby should be in this conversation. He is an absolute game wrecker, but Myles Garrett is just a freak of nature, and he's the best player on the best defense in the league. And he's just like he literally single handedly won a game for them against the Colts. And I just feel like
Yeah, I like your take about Max Crosby. That's who I picked. Raiders are not as bad of a team anymore now that McDaniels is fired. But he it's just because he's in Las Vegas. The team is bad. He doesn't get attention like the Browns, who have a great defense. He's just a beast. Like I really like him. Like his story. I'm getting all like personal here, but I just like him.
That's so mad of you. Miles, who do you got?
Yeah, I got Myles Garrett. He's just been insane carrying the whole Browns team. Really, not even just their defense. Like, I mean, he's like their most valuable player easily. I mean, I'm not saying he's MVP, but like if they didn't have him, like I don't even know if they would have a winning record right now.
Yeah.
I have Crosby too. I think it's a 2-man race right now, maybe a 3 with TJ Watt. But he's second in the league in tackles for loss, third or fourth in the league for sacks. I mean, he's just a game wrecker, like you said. But I don't know. I think it's a 2-man race. It's a toss-up, but I like them both right now. Who do we got for offensive player of the year? I'll give Michael a little time to think about that.
I got it.
Go ahead.
I have Tyreek Hill. We've talked about Tyreek versus Tua, who's more valuable to the offense. That was a good conversation we had, and I think it's Tyreek, and I think that offense is historically good mainly because of Tyreek Hill. His stats show it. He's impossible to defend. You can't defend him. He's too fast. He could run every route. He could like catch every ball. I mean, he's unreal.
Do we all have Tyreek? I think we can move on if we all do. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I like that. Let's go back to week 10 a little bit. Dog of the week. Best player, most impressed you, something along those lines. Michael, who do you got?
I have Dak against the Giants, 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. He was making some unbelievable throws. I know it's the Giants, but still, he's putting the ball in all the right spots. I mean, all the Dak haters are a little quiet right now. I've always been higher on Dak than most, so I'm happy to see him do well, and I think he's him and CeeDee Lamb. That connection is growing by the week. CeeDee Lamb's going off, and Dak's entering those elite quarterback conversations.
Speaking of those Giants, I'll direct the question to you and Matt a little more than Miles because of the Giants fan, but what's the deal with the Giants? Has Daniel Jones played his last game? Has the number 1 pick become more of a chance than not? Like, what are we thinking, Matt?
I think the Giants. I think they're the worst team in the league, so I think they're going to get number 1 pick. Like, I think the Bears are better. Maybe the Panthers are worse, but they got some garbage time touchdowns.
Patriots?
So,
I think the Patriots.
the Patriots. I forgot about. Yeah, I think the Patriots are worse.
Yo, is Bill
Roster's so
Belichick
bad.
done? Is
Yeah,
Mac
At the
Jones
end,
done? Is Bill Belichick done? Who's done?
I
I think they're both
I think
done.
it's a full fire
Full
sale.
blown rebuild.
Yeah.
Rebuild.
I mean, they have no one on their team to even like build around. The roster is just so bad.
yeah.
It's
I think the Bears are
god
going to get
awful.
the first pick though, just with the Panthers pick.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I think the Bears or the Panthers are better than the Giants and Patriots right now. Personally,
I agree.
Yeah, they probably are. I don't know.
the Giants are awful, dude.
I
I
guess like
mean,
how are the Giants going to win another game?
You know what derailed the whole season was when the Giants had like a really nice first drive versus the Cowboys.
And then the
And then
block
the
field.
false start by Andrew Thomas, who I don't think he had a single flag against him last year. And then Graham Gano, such a reliable kicker, just actually I forgot he didn't miss. It was blocked, but like
Yeah, it was blocked.
that's so
and then it was
weird.
returned, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
By
my
Noah
friends were talking about
Iguodala.
that. They were like, the vibes were so good with the Giants on that first drive of the season. The crowd was into it, and then like ever since that block kick, they've been literally the worst team in the league. Giants can't catch a break.
All right, go back. Wait, no, what were we on? Dog of the week. Matt, go ahead.
So I have Cortland Sutton, and I didn't have like the most statistically impressive week like CD or Dak, but that catch was like insane.
Yeah,
You know what I'm referring to, like the sideline toe tap. He had
Tyler
a nice
Lockett
first,
vibes.
yeah. Like I just think that play set the tone for the Broncos, and that was a big game for them. 3 wins in a row. I would really only have them because of that catch, and it was nice.
yeah. I got CJ Stroud. I mean, we basically talked about him enough, I think. But I mean, he just played insane against a really good team. So yeah.
I've Stroud too. Back to back games with game winning drives, last second field goals, plays, and it was just great. Luanaruma was having that defense play well too. I think we forgot how good that defense was, but 30 points against that defense, 27, whatever it was, is great. CJ Stroud looks great. We talked about him enough. Going into week 11 this week, starts up tomorrow night. Let's go fancy player of the week. Michael, who do you got?
Yeah, I feel like the obvious pick is Tyreek against Vegas, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pick Eckler against Green Bay. Green Bay's defense stinks. It's really so bad. Their run defense is awful. I mean, they let Najee Harris and Jalen Warren look like Gibbs and Monty. Like I mean, they're brutal. Their defensive coordinator sucks. So I just think Eckler's gonna he doesn't get a lot of his points on the ground, and I think he's gonna that's gonna raise his floor a lot and his ceiling because he's gonna get those ground points, and then obviously he's elite in the passing game.
I have CeeDee Lamb versus the Panthers. I think he had 3 straight games with 10 plus catches and 150 yards, and the Panthers defense is nothing special. And Dak looks really confident right now. No, this won't last in the playoffs if they make it, but there's CeeDee.
Yeah. I got Jahmyr Gibbs.
Oh my god. Sorry.
What?
Go ahead. No, go
Some
ahead.
reaction.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I got Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, I was last week. I was kind of worried he would maybe just go back to like what he was like the first couple weeks, but I mean, he just showed that he can have 20 plus even with Montgomery. So I think he'll do it again against
Bears.
the Bears.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Only reason I know that is because I have Jahmyr Gibbs as well. I mean, I was just like, oh my god, like he has Stroud too, and then he has Gibbs. Sorry, it was just a first reaction. I think it'll be a great game script for them. They're going to be leading by a lot, and they're just going to pound the rock. Maybe Monty gets a little more than him, just because it won't be passing downs, but he'll still get groundwork, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Week 11, 3 good games. Rest are kind of dog poop, but let's go Bengals at Ravens. 2 good NFC North matchups. Bengals at Ravens tomorrow night, Thursday Night Football. Who do we got, Michael?
Yeah, I'm gonna pick the Ravens. I just think they're the better team, and they're at home. It's gonna be a good duel between Burrow and that offense versus a great defense in the Ravens, and I think Lamar will be able to show out on prime time and silence Matthew Perman.
Yes, we'll see. I'm of course taking the Bengals. They have the better quarterback, better defense. My only concern is T. Higgins is probably not playing again. Who's more important because I mean Tyler Boyd played actually a pretty good game besides that drop, but he's not T. Higgins. I expect a bounce back from Joe Burrow, especially after a game they should have won. He just always bounces back, and I have more trust in him.
Yeah, he's a winner.
Yeah.
definitely. I took the Ravens just because I think they match up better against the Bengals. They're at home and they just lost, so I think they'll they'll be fired up for this game and division game too. So I think they got this one.
All these division games were toss-ups, but I just think the Bengals are a better team, and I trust Joe Burrow more than Lamar. And those three fourth quarter collapses worry me. I like one time's a fluke, but doing it to two bad teams and then doing it to a third good team is I just don't see that. Like that just doesn't set you up for success. I mean, the Colts aren't that good of a team, especially week 2. The Steelers we know are Tomlining their way to 6-3. And then the Browns are the Browns that we talked about, but it just worries me a little bit. I want to give them that fluke game, but I just can't. So I don't know. I think the Bengals are good. Like Matt said, I echo everything he said. But another one: Steelers at Browns. AFC North is somehow all over 500 and all in a playoff spot right now. Or maybe the Bengals aren't because of their loss. But AFC North is AFC Northing. Who do you got, Michael? Bengals, Browns, Steelers. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick the Browns. I think their defense is just gonna be way too overwhelming for a pretty mid Steelers offense, and then the Browns offense will be able to do enough. I mean, the Steelers defense didn't look that great against the Packers. I just don't understand how the Steelers are 6-3. Like,
Yeah.
is Mike Tomlin like the greatest coach of all time? Like, how is he doing this? Yeah. Besides that, I'm taking the Browns.
Yeah, I also have the Browns for the exact same reasons, but like I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers find a way to win this. Like they beat the Ravens, right? Earlier in the season.
Yeah.
They just find ways to win games, but I'm still taking the Browns.
It's a joke. Go ahead, Mouse.
Yeah, I got the Browns too. You guys basically said it all, but I think the Steelers they're somehow winning these games, but I think the Browns will shut them down.
It's honestly ridiculous that the Steelers have the same record as the Dolphins. It just blows my mind. Every single time I think of that, it just blows my mind because I don't think they're on even the same. I think there's 2 tiers in between. Like I think the Dolphins are tier 1, 2, Steelers like 3, 4. Like I just don't see how it's possible. But I have the Browns too. I wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers steal their way to a victory in Cleveland. But whatever. Super Bowl 57 matchup, Monday Night Football. Eagles, Chiefs. Miles, Eagles fans, start us off. Who do you got?
Of course, I got the Eagles. I know Michael's got the Chiefs, but I'm excited to see what he says. But yeah, I think the Eagles match up better. The Chiefs have been struggling on offense. Eagles have been struggling on defense, so I think that will be a good matchup. But I think the Eagles D line is better than their O line, and they'll be able to get to Mahomes and kind of rattle him, so he won't be able to get to his receivers. And then on the offensive side for the Eagles, I just think, like I said earlier, Cam Jurgens is a huge addition, and I just think Hurts and AJ Brown will be able to connect a lot and get it done.
Is Goddard playing?
No,
Is he on the IR?
I think it said he's doubtful, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets placed on the IR soon.
Got it. Michael and Matt, go ahead. One of you.
I'll go ahead and pick the Chiefs. I mean, they're home, so I think it's going to be a really tough environment for the Eagles to play in. I feel like a lot of the Eagles' big games have been at home, so it's a little switch up for them. And then I think like the Eagles' offense might struggle a little bit against a great Chiefs defense. I think the Chiefs will be able to slow them down enough to a point where you're getting the ball to Mahomes like enough to score some points. Like if that makes any sense. I feel like they'll be able to force some punts here and there, and Mahomes will do his thing. I know the Eagles' defense is I mean, they've a great defensive line, but outside of that, it's been a little streaky. So I think Mahomes will be able to avoid some pressure and make some plays.
Yeah, I have the Eagles, like Miles said, for all those reasons as well. Raji Rice and that ground game of the Chiefs is just nothing special. I do agree with Michael's point about how I feel like every big Eagles game has been at home. So I actually wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs won just because it's an Arrowhead, it's a primetime game, but the roster of the Eagles is much better.
Every Eagles game is a home game. The fans travel.
Not at Arrowhead.
Not the Arrowhead, dude.
Yes. You'll be surprised.
The Chiefs-aholic, whatever.
Will you be there, Miles?
Go at him.
No, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 60-40 or like 70-30.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I was in like
He won.
90-10.
Yeah, it's gonna be like
Against the Rams, it was like 50-50.
okay. The Ram,
That's
the
The
LA doesn't
Rams,
They don't
the
have
play
Rams,
fans.
the Rams have away games against the Niners. Like it's, I know
You
that's
think the
California
Chiefs are
versus
gonna have
California.
10% more fans than like the Rams?
I mean, it's across the country. I mean, I would think that those same fans will be able to show up at Arrowhead.
I got my money on
No,
80.
I'm just saying, like, I don't
80-20.
think
I like it.
I don't
80-20
think
is
the
good.
Chiefs being home will play as much of a factor as you think.
I think it will. I
I
have the
say
I have the Chiefs too. I Michael said that part that I didn't think of, but it makes complete sense. The Dolphins game was home, the Cowboys game was home. They beat them both, which they should at home. But I think it'll be a lower scoring game than people are anticipating. I don't know if the defenses. No, I don't know if the offenses can go against the defenses. Like, all right, let me backtrack.
No, I know what you're
The
saying.
the Chiefs offense isn't good enough, but their defense is good enough. It's like the other way around. Like you get what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I think just because they're home too, I want to see what Hurts can do in an environment that I haven't seen him in often, in a sense. So, yeah, it'll be a great game, great matchup. But we are a football podcast, so a lot going on in college football. These two Michael and Miles boys are Michigan boys. I'll let you start by thoughts on what is going on. Yeah, I'll stop there. One of you guys, Michael, go ahead.
I think it's ridiculous what's going on with Michigan. I mean, first of all, there's no proof of anything yet. So all these people saying that they should be punished right now, and the Big Ten clearly thinks so too because they punished Jim Harbaugh. It's just ridiculous. They literally put in their statement, "We have no proof that Harbaugh is involved in this, but we're like suspending him on like behalf of the university." I just think that's ridiculous. I didn't know we're just getting rid of innocent until proven guilty, but it's just it's ridiculous, and we're fighting through it. I mean, 35 straight runs in the second half to beat a top 10 team is crazy, and we're winning the national championship.
Those Penn State Nittany Lions are the biggest fraud in the land. That's all I have to
Their
say.
defense is
Their
great.
defense is really good.
Their defense is real. I was shocked at how fast their defense is. They flew to every ball, and I mean I mean at a certain point it's hard to stop Michigan's run game. Like they just
Yeah.
ran, and they did a decent job stopping it, but obviously not good enough.
Yeah. Yeah, on the Harbaugh thing, Michael pretty much said it all. Like, I don't get how you can suspend someone without evidence.
Mhm.
Like, that's just completely unfair. But I guess, yeah, I mean, maybe they just did it so Ryan Day stops crying to TD or whatever his name is, the new
Yeah.
commissioner of the Big Ten. I mean, Ryan Day's just been like crying on those phone calls. The Rutgers coach, whatever his name is, I don't know. Stephen A has been like getting mad about it on First Take. I don't know what he's saying.
He said that he's not sure why the interim head coach was crying on national television.
Yeah, that didn't
Yeah,
make
I
sense.
saw that.
He
Like
didn't die. I don't know.
You're supposed to beat a team that you're supposed to beat. You beat a team you're supposed to beat.
that was
Is what he said.
that was Sharon. That the coach's name is Sharon Moore. That was the biggest game of his life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then he had maybe a day and a half to prepare for it, and then on top of that, just like Michigan's getting all this hate and backlash, and like that was the biggest game of his life. I think the crying was completely justified.
Yeah, I think Moore had just a lot of pressure on him going into the game,
Yeah.
and when he won, he just all that pressure. Think about all that like emotion releasing at once in an interview. I think
And
that's
he had 3 jobs on Michigan's biggest game of the season so far. He's offensive line coach, offensive coordinator, plus head coach.
Yeah.
That's actually crazy. I do think this, like, obviously it's not great losing a head coach, but like I feel like this is a good thing for the players. I mean, they're all together. Like that. I'm not a Michigan fan. I don't hate Michigan. I don't like Michigan, but like it like made me feel some way, like that they were all together wearing Harbaugh shirts and all that. Like JJ McCarthy tweeted bet. Like it's like they all are fighting for the same thing. I think it was a great thing, and that type of stuff like makes you want to win a championship. It's just. But I have a question. Like, what would you say to someone that said Michigan should be out of the CFP? And like, because I see it both ways. Like, you can't punish the Michigan players that had no impact on what they know, what Jim Harbaugh knew or he didn't know. But then you also got to feel for the Texas or the Washingtons or the Clemson or the Alabamas that don't get in because Michigan's in? Like, what would you say?
I mean, like, you just have to respect the process of the investigation. Yeah, why would they punish them before there's any proof or before the
Yeah.
investigation's over?
Oh, yeah.
And if they prove it and there's clear proof and it's clearly a competitive advantage that they had in the past, then go ahead, punish them in the future. But in terms of this season, there's nothing that proves that they're good because of it or that the investigation's over. So I think that you can't really take action yet. And clearly, Michigan's a good team. I mean, we didn't have our head coach, and we went into Penn State and won pretty dominantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think if they find evidence that Harbaugh like directly knew about it and yeah, if he knew about it, then I think the suspension is justified. I think if like the players knew about it, I mean, sure, take them out of the CFB. But right now, there's no evidence to say that they did or anything like that. Right now, like all anyone knows is that Connor Stallions was like the only one doing it, and we got rid of him. So really, I don't know. Like nothing should be happening right now. We should just be playing games. We should be able to play in the college football playoff right now. And yeah, I mean, nothing should happen right now without any evidence.
All right, so we're a couple weeks out of the college football playoffs, but we mentioned a little bit. Who do we think? Give me 1 through 4 on Selection Sunday, the main draw after every championship games. Who do we have 1 through 4? Michael, go ahead.
Yeah, so I really think Alabama has a shot of beating Georgia in the SEC championship, but I'm gonna pick Georgia to win that game, which would put them most likely in the 1 spot there. And then at 2, I have Michigan. I think they match up well against Ohio State. I'm a little worried about that game. Obviously, it's a rivalry game; anything could happen. But assume if they win that, and I would assume they're gonna beat whoever wins the Big Ten West, and then solidify that 2 spot. There's an argument for 1 over Georgia if they do that, but probably not if they beat Bama.
I don't think so. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And then at 3, I have FSU. I think that their schedule is. I mean, they should beat the
Mickey
teams ahead of
Mouse.
them. Yeah, and they're undefeated. I know the committee's obsessed with strength of schedule, but an undefeated team, you can't really leave them out. And then at 4, I'm going to have undefeated Washington too, with same reasons.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I have Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, and then Washington.
Okay.
Solid. Yeah.
What? No, actually, never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, Miles can go. Yeah.
And number 1, I have America's team.
Oh, come on.
Wolverines.
America's.
Just because, and yeah, they are America's team right now. I don't care what like Paul Feinbaum says. They're America's team. But yeah, I think they beat Ohio State, and they're number 1 mainly because I think Georgia lose against Alabama, who I have at 2.
Alabama at 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
got Bama at 2. And then, I mean, yeah, that's just because Jalen Milroe's been playing insane. I think they beat Georgia in that game. And 3, I have FSU. I think, yeah, their schedule's been pretty easy, but they're still, I still think they're a good team. And I think they win the ACC pretty easily. So I got them at 3. And then at 4, I got Texas. I think Georgia completely falls out of the rankings. And that Texas win against Alabama, once Alabama beats Georgia, will look really good. And then I think they'll win the Big 12.
So you think that a 1-loss Alabama team hops an FSU undefeated ACC champion?
Yeah, if they beat Georgia, I could see that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also, I think this is a great year.
But also, it won't really matter.
This would be the best year for a 12 team.
That's what I was going to say.
Kidding me?
This would be an insane expanded playoff year. And I'm happy that's next year, right? Aren't they expanding?
Yeah, next year. So I was thinking so say Oregon beats Washington. So then you don't have an undefeated Pac-12. They're both 1-loss teams beating each other. Say Alabama beats Georgia. Say Ohio State loses to Michigan. Like who do you put? FSU probably will stay in. I hate putting them in there, but I have them in there. It's just the committee has a rough thing. Like a couple.
I just think if Alabama wins, you have to put Texas in there too, just because they beat them.
And
But
I
I
really
don't.
do think there's like a shot that if all that stuff happens, there's a bunch of really strong one loss teams that there's a chance FSU slips out purely because of strength of schedule and quality
They
wins.
haven't played anyone, dude. It's just they almost
I mean,
lost.
maybe LSU, right? Isn't that
That
their
was
big
week
win?
one.
Yeah,
Week like
Yeah.
yeah. No,
So
that's their only good win.
that's their. I mean,
LSU's looking pretty good recently.
yeah, Jane Daniels, Heisman.
Jaden Daniels Heisman watch. Yeah,
Yeah,
Um, I have same thing as Michael. I have Georgia, Mich, FSU, then Washington.
okay,
I hate putting FSU in there, but I have to. It's just an undefeated
yeah.
team.
That's
Like
like the favorite for the top
I,
four. Like
I
that's
mean,
like the
like
most.
if I could, I would like take FSU out and put a one loss Ohio State
Like
team or a
or
Texas
Kansas.
in. Yeah,
Yeah,
like 100%.
right.
But
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see. NFL is great right now. College football is great right now. Football is great. Hockey, not so much. We'll get to that at a different point. I'm going
hockey's
through it.
going
But yeah, I
crazy.
think it's going good. Yeah.
I'm going through it.
Hockey's amazing.
Lane Lambert needs to go.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next time. That's all I'm going to say.